Hello everybody, my name's Star Raptor, and this is Recap of Thrones. Every week I break down the latest episode of Game of Thrones, providing my speculation. So this week we had Season 6, Episode 8, titled No One. Like always, before I get into this episode, I'm going to be talking all spoilers, everything's game, so make sure you go ahead and watch the episode before you watch this. Ready? So let's jump into it with the rundown. So we start off in Braavos, where Arya defeats the Waif and claims that she is Arya of Winterfell. Yes, that she finally gets revenge on that girl that's been bothering her whole time. And pretty much it looked like Jaquna Guar was pretty happy with her when she decided that she's going back to Winterfell. About time, right? Okay, so next up we have the Riverlands. So we pick up where the Hound left off. It's the same old Hound, everybody. He goes back and he gets revenge on those guys that just killed all his friends, the villagers. But when he does that, he actually runs into Beric Dondarrion and Thoros the Mirror, who we haven't seen since Season 3. So, yes, Beric Dondarrion is trying to get Hound to join his cause, and to do that, basically the Hound intervenes in between a hanging and helps them basically execute a couple of the guys that he ran into before for revenge. And one of them is actually, for book readers, it is actually Lemon Cloak, and he's one of my favorite characters from the books, so, or at least the minor characters, so it's kind of sad to see him go in my eyes, but whatever, he was a bad guy in the show. So, moving on, we go to Meereen, where Tyrion actually says goodbye to Varys. Now, in the books, Varys never even came over to Essos. He's been in Westeros this whole time in the books. So, what is he going to be doing back in Westeros? He's going to be spreading the word that Daenerys is around, or at least we think he's going to do that. You know, Varys, he always has a trick up his sleeve. Never quite know who he's actually helping, who he is an ally of. So, yes, that is very interesting. Next up, we have a nice little conversation between some wine with Tyrion, Grey Worm, and Missandei. They exchange some pretty funny jokes, but that is cut a little bit short when we find out that the city is under attack by the slavers. Apparently Tyrion didn't do a good enough job of persuading these guys to lay down their slavery trade for over 7 years, and they are all back in force. But we do have Daenerys that comes back at the turn of the tide, so who knows what's going to happen with her. Hopefully she gets on Drogon and starts lighting those ships up. That's all I gotta say. Next up, we move to King's Landing, where Cersei shows the power of the mountain in front of the Faith Militant, who come to escort her to the High Sparrow. So she shows them who's boss with her good old pal, the Mountain. And then Cersei goes over to the Red Keep, where her son is making a big announcement, and basically, Tommen says that there is no trial by combat. So unfortunately for Cersei, she's gonna have to play the just like everybody else, just like fair. You know, she's not gonna have some big guy protecting her. Next up, we have Riverrun. So we have Pod that reunites with Bronn. They have this great interaction, because I think the last time we've seen these two together was Season 4. And the great thing about Game of Thrones is you never really see that, like, some characters might never reunite again. Basically, every time in Game of Thrones, if a character leaves another character, there's a good chance that one of them is going to be dead in the next couple episodes. So seeing characters reunite over a progression of a couple seasons and seeing what they've been up to, it's always a great thing to see, especially Bronn. I continue to love the character that they keep giving him more scenes in the show, because he's been long gone in the books at this point. But more important here, we have Jaime that meets with Brienne, and again, we haven't seen those two, well, since last season, I guess. But you can tell there's a connection. There's a genuine connection between these two characters, for sure. And basically, Jaime also works out, basically threatens the heck out of Edmure into making him surrender to his uncle, the Blackfish, to give up Riverrun. So yes, Edmure surrenders over Riverrun, so now Jaime completed his mission and he can go back to Cersei. So that was basically what happened in this episode of Game of Thrones. I'm going to go into my strengths of the episode. So first off, first things first, I'm going to get away with, holy crap, was there a lot of gore in tonight's episode. And it was funny because it was both from the Cleganes. We got Gregor, the mountain undead Clegane, and we have the Hound. So yeah, Sandor Clegane. So yeah, it was really just so brutal. I mean, we've seen some terribly grotesque scenes so far in Game of Thrones, but when the Hound just picks up the axe, you know, buries it in the guy's gut, and you see that back shot of just his intestines just falling into the ground and making that crazy noise. It was really disturbing for me. It was a good thing I hadn't eaten very close to them, because I might have vomited from seeing that, and just it was pretty nasty. And just equally as nasty is when basically the Mountain does pulls a Mortal Kombat, as I like to say, on that one Faith Militant guy by grabbing his head and just yanking out his entire spinal column and just throwing it, his entire spine along with his head, just throwing it. And they do a close-up shot on his hand. It's just still twitching. Although that was a nice little touch. But yeah, this episode was really gruesome. Gruesome, for sure. Moving on, another thing I really enjoyed about the episode was how Cersei, you know, she's feeling so confident in that scene I just talked about with Gregor ripping out the spine of the Faith Militant. So she's feeling real damn good. You know, she's going to have a trial by combat. No one ever could take out the Mountain. He's just unkillable at this point. We've seen what a good of a job the Viper did, and he still couldn't do it. So, yeah. And just hearing the news that, you know, Tommen, and even before that, like, she has no more power. Like, she can't even sit with her own son. She has to congregate with the rest of the noblewomen in the so-called gallery, as Kevan Lannister, the Hand of the King, put it. So you just see her, you know, I think this season is just the downfall of her, honestly. Like, you just see her slowly start to deteriorate into nothingness now. She's nothing. Like she was talking to Lady Olenna last episode, I was talking about how she's lost. She really has no more say in anything. So now she's on an even playing field, fair with the trial. So, I mean, it's not looking good for her at all. As if she hit a low spot last season with the Walk of Shame. It just continues to get worse. Next up, we have Brienne and Jaime. I think this is a great relationship. I love their whole progression through the whole of Season 3 and how much Jaime changed. A lot of it thanks to Brienne. So, you know, seeing that they might have had to fight each other if they were, you know, they were on both sides of the conflict. But Jaime likes her enough to really give her a second chance and kind of look the other way when it comes to her. And that whole scene when, you know, they connected when they were on the boat, they kind of just waved their hand like, you know, fair journey to you. I hope you make it out alive. Maybe I'll see you at Winterfell. But yeah, I just continue to like that a lot, that whole storyline between them two. Because it's like the most unlikely pair you would ever think that would actually have feelings for each other. So that's really nice. Next up, just a quick little thing about the visual effects for the destruction of Merinia. We've seen it for like 20 seconds, but holy crap, did that shot look amazing. Just the pyramids in the background, a little smoke. I'm just hoping for the Greyjoys to come up and just destroy the Harpies next episode, or hopefully before the end of the season. That'd be pretty cool. And finally, I really enjoyed the Arya Stark chase through Braavos. It was a pretty prolonged scene, but I think it did an awesome job just for one thing alone, is just to show Braavos as a whole. And I just really enjoyed them fleshing out everything, and just the fact that Arya Stark was trying so hard to get away from this killer. I mean, she just got stabbed in the chest, and she's jumping off of like a 20-foot ledge and landing and just keep going and keep going. She's got so much stamina and endurance that she'll do whatever it takes. And just the last shot of her holding a needle, just slicing off the candle, and holy crap, you know, stabbing with the pointy end is what her half-brother Jon Snow told her with the last time they seen each other, pretty much. So that was really, really satisfying, is seeing her using needle. That is signifying that she is Arya Stark of Winterfell. She is not no one anymore. She knows who she is, and she's going to go back to Winterfell. Unfortunately for her, it's going to be a much different Westeros than when she left it, but I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see where she's going to be in season 7. Like, it's going to be insane seeing if she's going to reunite with Jon and Sansa. That'd be such a reunion. And this episode was really, really strong. I really liked this. I was trying to look for any kind of weaknesses, anything I didn't like. Nothing really stood out to me, but I will say, as a book reader, when I see those nooses for the shot with the Hound towards the end of the episode when he meets Beric Dondarrion, you book readers will know what I'm talking about, but there is a certain character that when I see those nooses at that one shot, I thought we were getting that character, finally. SM is the initials. I'm really trying hard not to give it away because I know there's people that haven't read the books. So everybody, if you know what I'm talking about, yeah, like, spell it out in the comments or something. But yeah, it just that's the weakness because it just gives more of a proof that she's probably not going to be in it. Yeah, I just said what her gender is, so. But yeah, that was the only thing. It's like, I really wish we would get her as a character in here, but it's just the longer these seasons go on, the less hope I have. And that really showed me that we're probably not going to get her at this point. So yeah, that's moving away from my weakness of the episode, but now I'll be getting into my quote of the episode. This is the Hound at the beginning of the episode, talking to the guy that I mentioned before that lost his intestines, and he's basically saying, like, is that the best you got, basically, to the guy that was, like, cursed him out before he died, and he's like, just shit at dying, you know that. Like, that's just like the Hound just came in there and just whooped all their asses like it was nothing. And there was literally nothing those guys could do between them and that guy's rage, I'll tell you. But that is episode 6, or episode 8 rather, season 6 of Game of Thrones. The next episode is our penultimate episode called The Battle of the Bastards. You guys know every 9th episode of Game of Thrones is that huge battle episode. So we're getting a battle between Jon Snow and Ramsay Bolton, I guess, at this point. But he's still kind of a bastard. Who do you guys think is going to win? Just comment in the section below. What do you guys think is going to happen? I hope Ramsay bites the dust. But other than that, I will have my recap, as I always do, up by next Monday. That is going to do it for me, Star Raptor. Thanks for watching, and Valor Megules. Did you enjoy this video? Then make sure you go ahead and hit that thumbs up symbol. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Subscribing to my channel will help me out, and it helps you guys out, keeping up to speed on all my latest content. Speaking of which, you can catch my weekly Star Wars show down over there. You can see a recent review I've done over there, and you can follow me on social media, Twitter @StarRaptor, as well as Facebook.com/StarRaptor.